is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you, Anna, Bill, Corey, Diane, Frank. We got Jay. Good morning to Joe, JT, Lauren, Lou, Lucian, the squadrons. Hey, Lucian, how was your flight, man? How's your trip going? Marius, good morning to you. We got Martina, Matthew, Mike. Good morning to Peter, Rick, Shane, Tim, all my peeps out in YouTube land. We got Clarice. Maximo says, good morning, ready to learn. Whew, I like that positivity. I love that positivity. All my lurkers in the background on YouTube. It's okay. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But if there's anything that looks good, any tickers you want to take a look at, make sure you guys throw those into the chat pane. We'll cover as many as humanly possible, as much as the passage of time will be the passage of time and will allow me to cover for you guys. But CPI, pretty much in line. So they gave us an interesting gap. We were talking about this one in the afternoon in the swing room yesterday. They played this one actually differently. So the scenarios were like, okay, we could get a gap up, which this is still a little gap up. The numbers weren't bad. They were essentially in line. They came in slightly light, nothing too crazy. But we said that I think a lot, for me personally at least, I think a lot of yesterday's PPI reaction was based off PPI, but also kind of pricing in the CPI a little bit today, saying that we're going to be positive. If we get some kind of gap up, there should be a retest. I'll get to why this is an interesting gap in a second, but there was no major gap, nothing too crazy. There was not a bad miss, and we just gapped down, and then we're sitting in that bear camp. That's going to change things a little bit. So we still have that retest gap. And what is interesting is, first of all, let's go back to that daily chart. Where's my VPOC? Somewhere around 541.33 ish. Let me see if I get a little more accurate on that one. Yeah, 541.30, something to that extent. Where did we pull back on that initial reaction? We got pretty close to it. We got to that 541 zone. So my question is, did we already do that retest? Was this the initial retest? And now we don't really pull back too much. I'm still gonna wait. We still have technically at open a little bit of bullishness or retest gap from yesterday. So maybe we do pull back. I'm looking at this spot right here. I think this will tell me. So if we could get to like anywhere above 543.20, let's say, I think at that point we have maybe a very small pullback and then run bullish, and we kind of leave this open. I think if we open where we're at now, let's see if we get that little bit of a bigger kind of pullback. Something again, we might not fully retest this gap. So that throws a little bit of a wrench into my grill, just a tad, where we get this, like, I don't know if we're going for this full pullback, this 541. We kind of already just did that pre-market. So we'll be cautious, but I still would look for a tiny little pullback in the market. We do have a decent range higher. I don't know. I mean, we're getting into a decent volume zone. So do we get held up at, I think this is probably a good one. Just because we got one VPOC here, 543.98. We probably could get squeezed past that one and get into like the 544.34. The next target up would take us to about 545.49. If we start breaking 545.50, I don't have anything else really holding us back. A few levels, but they've been all retested and messed around with. But that takes us to about 550.50. So somewhere in that zone. Lucia says both legs on time. Couldn't believe it. He must have been flying a private jet. Was it a private airline you took? There's no way they offer that to the public. No. They built that waiting room in the airports for a reason. They want people to occupy it. But yeah, so we have interesting zone that we're coming into. Look for a little bit of a chop until we kind of break out. But I'm still leaning to the bullish side today. I thought I was going to come in leaning a little bit more bearish based on the fact that we beat, the market loves it, runs up pretty big pre-market, and we get some kind of selling all day, or it's a miss. They come in line and they don't give us too much of a gap. So I think we could actually continue a lot of yesterday's run, but it will be telling to see how we close today. I do think the CPI will indicate that I think it pretty much gives the runway to the Fed to lower the rates. So I don't think the discussion of if they're going to lower rates is really a question. Not at this point, unless something crazy happens. Question is how much, and maybe we get that 50 point basis cut. We'll see. Otherwise, Q is very similar. So we do have obviously the 50 right here. We are above the 20, so chopping above those two. We're opening into a little bit of what he says. So we bullish market again. I think we were actually, we no, I don't know. That's a loaded question. I mean, realistically, we started going bullish right from here on this gap down. But I think all of this puts us into like questionable territory. I think this is where we started getting a little bit more bullish. Like this entire move was cautiously bullish. As soon as we got this close right here on this day, and then this gap up, I think we are leaning a little bit more to the bull side than to the bear side. We're still into some heavy volume, even on Qs. We got some heavy volume right in this range. I would say anywhere from 465.59 to 462.49. Still a little iffy. There's some good spots there that could kind of hold us back, and we haven't retested any of this. At the same time, we can see some FOMO traders coming in going, oh, I thought that was supposed to be the big drop. Well, I got all this money sitting on the side. What am I supposed to do with it now? I can't put it to treasuries because their rates are dropping. What do I do? So we might see we might see a little bit continuation. We'll see. And then if we do, that will probably last us up to the first rate cut. And then we have to kind of see where the market reacts from there, how much percentage it is, what Jerome Powell says about it, what the reasons are for it. And if he's like, hey, the economy looks good still, we got that dual mandate, so we need employment, we need inflation under control. If we have inflation under control and the jobs reports all still look good, and we're cutting just because we think it's time to cut and not because we're on the verge of a recession or already in recession, then I think the market can run a little bit further until we get a couple more cuts. But for right now, yeah, I'm still kind of leaning bullish. But next target up, we don't have that much range on Qs, so the next target I'm looking for is about 465.08. If we could break that, 467.35. And then probably stretch goal. The big one for today would be 469.92. Anything above that, I think, is pure confirmation that we rally probably continues. And if we get pullbacks, we're not getting lower lows. If anything, we get a higher double bottom and move from that point. To the downside, we have to watch for some kind of support. Again, we already kind of pulled back pre-market on the report, but 461.69 is the level I want to see hold. If that starts to break, I think then you still got a couple levels of support, but big one to the downside, 456.65. We will see. Is that prior June dip in play? You're talking about the Qs prior June. Prior June dip. You're talking about this one? I'm not quite sure, Maximo, what you're asking. We did come down. We retested that dip, but we've already taken out from there. The only thing, I don't know. That looks like my ABC. This looks like a wave 1, 2. That could have been the wave 3, 4, overextended 5. A little consolidation, I guess. And as soon as we took out, this could be a new leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take us to a double top. I don't know. Peter says, I think the Fed will do the typical Fed thing, say really nothing. In September, I think they're going to react. I think most of the market will probably take I think it would be a shock if the market doesn't, like if the Fed doesn't lower rates. I think we get a little bit of an issue on that one. And then obviously if they do come in, I don't know why I put Bill. Bill's asking the question, so I try to pull up the Bill ticker. Oof, what day of the week is it? But yeah, if he does, like he even on the last conference, he actually said more than he had to. He was kind of going like full, like, yeah, we were meeting, we were actually discussing maybe this is the time we should do it. He never gives that information. So if he does cut rates, I think he's going to go into a little bit more detail, and we probably see a little different Jerome Powell. But Amazon, yeah, this one was picking up pre-market. Nice little run up. I do like this location. I actually had it number one on my list. I also like pins. Shopify looked interesting. Carvana actually kind of looked interesting. I have SMCI, but I think that was from yesterday. And then Hood kind of looked a little interesting too. But so those are the ones at least pre-market I was just running through, seeing. But good level. I'd have to see where this thing opens. I think Amazon might be a good high wave play. So if we get any type of a pullback, especially if we're opening anywhere above, let's say 170, 119, small little pullback, tiny, and then it's got a lot of room up. I think the next spot at least would take us to 174.60. If we do have an impressive day and we go crazy, 177.28 would be a likely target for Amazon. So a lot of room on that one. Since I have pins on my list, let's go to this one. We're right below $30. So we have $30 psychological whole number, but I like this location a lot. Again, I'd still be a little patient. We actually looked at this one for maybe a swing trade. I can't remember if it was yesterday or not, but a little bit of a swing trade potential as well. I think we got longer term, we got some targets into probably about 32.56. Pins might have a little bit of consolidation, so I don't know if I'd be going for 2 hours maybe. But if we could get a little bit of a pullback on pins, I think that's looking ready to break. Shopify, interesting gap on this one. Probably target on this one. We might be able to get to like 72.36. But we have VPOCs that are all closing at higher than all of this. We did have some price action above that last candle. We have not got a close above this one yet. So we're just battling some of that resistance. But today, at least, we're starting to open up above 69.70. So not a bad location. I think Shop probably has a little bit of room to go. Again, 72.23. Otherwise, if we put in an extremely bullish day, 74.39 on Shopify. SMCI. Let me take some of those lines off. They did well for us yesterday. So you're saying, Jeff, you want to roll the dice again? All right. Let's see. Um, Probably bullish. Day trade wise, I don't think I have good risk reward on this one. Not like I did yesterday, unless we get some kind of pullback. I'm looking for probably about. I still want to remain bullish, so I don't want to go short SMCI. I think our target's still good to probably 609, something to that extent. That being said, a little bit of a pullback would get us better risk reward. So as close as we possibly can get to this 570.59, that's where I would be looking to buy. Again, I'm still bullish on the market. I think we had I think we priced in a little bit of today's CPI yesterday for a lot of this. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a decent dip in the market at some point. But I'm looking for some of those levels to kind of hold of support. So if we get a little pullback, still inside day, it is at the higher end of the range. But yeah, give me something around this 571-ish, 570, 60. That would get me much better risk reward up to the 607 target. We kind of almost played like we did yesterday, but I do like SMCI as well. Amazon, we took a look at NVDA. NVIDIA. I don't know what it is with NVIDIA, but the VPOCs always take forever to load. NVIDIA is going to be interesting. We know 120 is a pretty big level for it. We got a lot of resistance up here. We got a big target. So I think if we do have a crazy bull run today on it, 122. I don't even want to count how many days because I'll probably have to puke. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. It took us 7 days to essentially go from $90 to where we closed, and then you have this gap up of 118. I think we're starting. You even see a little bit of support here, a little bit of support here, support here. That kind of became resistance here. I think we're opening into that resistance. And I think if anybody's made some money on the way up, watch this one. I don't know. I mean, again, if this one has a great day today, 122.88, that'd be a good spot to look to go short after the run we've had. But I do think this 120 zone, and we're very close to it. So I think your risk reward actually starts to become to the bear side as opposed to the bull side, unless we start breaking through that last resistance, and then we want to carry it from there. But For right now at open, I'm looking at this going, we're pretty much gapping after a pretty crazy run already, where I think some people might want to take some targets. So I wouldn't be as bullish today on NVIDIA, not yet. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some candles closing above 120.50, but that will still take us to 122.88. So I'm probably not going to be as bullish on NVIDIA unless we get some kind of pullback. Then maybe on a day trade basis, we could do something. Schwab, SCH. I always forget the ticker on this one. SCHW. That looks impressive. Unless unless we start trading and all the brokers go out today again. But that kind of looks impressive. We're going to start getting hit with some high volume zones. So I think 65.71. That's going to be a big resistance. If we can get above 65.71, of course, we're going to have some moving averages kind of coming in and impeding our movement. But I think overall, probably targets get us to about $72. Wave count wise, looks interesting. Let me see if I can get this over here. I need quicker access to my pen than my current setup. There we go. But if this is a 1, this is a 2, this definitely looks like a 3 to me. This looks like a 4. This looks like a 5. This looks like a terrific double bottom. So I like the pullback. Also, great location. Swing trade looks phenomenal. I kind of wish we looked at this yesterday in the swing room. I don't know if we would have got triggered, but we'd be pretty close. I think I wouldn't mind trying to get triggered here for a swing, having a stop down here somewhere. And then I think we probably get again up to this potential range. Definitely into this. So not bad. I'm gonna move this one definitely a lot higher on the list. Looks nice. Flute. Flute. Flute is what, FanDuel, right? Which I didn't even realize was Australian. I think they're an Australian company, but yeah, Flutter, they own FanDuel. So they came out yesterday with, I believe, earnings. They missed earnings per share by 11 cents. And then you have, and we'll go to one more company after this one, but we got beat on revenue, surprise beat by 207 million. So not bad on FanDuel. Minus the earnings per share. So that was a little bit of a miss. The key thing in this report, and they were kind of syncing with DraftKings. So what DraftKings did was they said, hey, listen, we're getting taxed like crazy by some of these states. Individual states are just taxing us like insane because of our business itself and the fact that they legalized it and now they feel like they could just tax whatever. We have to try to figure out some margins on this one, so we're going to add fees to DraftKings to play some bets. I think some of the market thought maybe Flute was going that direction, or specifically FanDuel was going in that direction too. They came out, they said no fees. So the revenue was good. The revenue did beat. Earnings per share was a little bit of a miss. You're opening into a little resistance up here. So I'd be cautious on this gap up from here. I think if you start breaking maybe about 208.72, that would take you up to about 211.48. And then if that starts breaking, you're looking for a final target somewhere around 214.65. But that would be a really impressive day. You're obviously squeezing a whole bunch of shorts out of this thing. The other thing, though, the sympathy play to it is DraftKings. So DraftKings, after Flute came out and said, yeah, we're not doing fees, DraftKings comes out and said, we take back our statement. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, yeah, never mind on the fee thing. We tried it. We thought that was going to catch on. It didn't. Also had a little bit of resistance, but much bigger gap down. I would love to see some kind of a pullback. Look for like 32.74. I think if that could hold somewhere in that level, that would give us a good day trade to kind of play sympathy on Flute. But yeah, FanDuel it's a little bit high up there. A little bit high up there. Flute would have to be a pullback for me. GOOG. Santilla says Starbucks is a buy. We'll get to that one in a second. Google. Yeah, so they have some news that they're getting some pressure to break up Google. That maybe they're too big to fail. So we want to give them at least the edge to possibly fail, I guess. We don't want that much security in the markets, but Google is gapping down a little bit. This is going to face a little bit of pressure. Watch this level where we're opening now, though. So look for 163.90 to hold. I'd even go maybe a little less, 163.80. If that starts to break, next level down is probably about 162.04. I don't think this breakup of Google is going to be a huge, massive sell off, but if you're looking for something to head in a short direction, this is interesting. You're still watching this candle here, so not too far away, but we got 156.60 if that starts to break. Um, Look out below. Otherwise, your first indicator would be, can we start breaking 160.99? And can we get some candles to close below that? I think that starts to trap some of the bulls. I think that breakup of Google becomes a little more significant. They also had their Google presentation yesterday talking about the new AI in phones. I haven't really seen anything with AI where it's like, okay, you're just speeding up tasks that I do. So I want something like real innovative coming from AI, but maybe we're too soon. But yeah, I think we're probably going to be in a little bit of a chop zone, especially if tech and everything's rallying. This one probably won't rally as much today, but I don't think people are fleeing for the exits. Not quite yet. Santilla says Starbucks is a buy. Um, Probably like two days ago it was a buy, I would have said. I don't hate Starbucks. I don't think it goes anywhere like crazy where it's like we have to get in, we're gonna miss out. The coffee's about to get cold, so we gotta drink it. I don't think we're in that situation, but it did have a 24.5% move yesterday. So if you missed it, uh I think time will give you an opportunity to get back in. So I wouldn't go FOMO on this one. Can it get some continuation and news around it? Yes. I think Dennis Dick had a good topic on this one today. Actually, he was talking about it, and I was like, "Yeah, you might be right on this one." Think about it. I mean, yes, they got the new CEO, but what else happened? You got two activist investors. They're not trying to get married to Starbucks. They're investors. Their job is to get in, shake things up, make some money, and get out. If you have already made 25% on your cash that you put into Starbucks, that might be all they're looking for. What happens if news comes out that they're leaving, that they've sold their positions, they've taken their gains? So I would give this one a little bit of time, but I think at some point, yeah. Also, Lucian too. Lucian says the CMG CEO at that. Yeah, he did phenomenal with. I'll give him credit. He did phenomenal with Chipotle. But their market cap by the time he got in was massively low. Like, so you have a lot of room to move higher. I think Starbucks has like $109 billion market cap. What are you going to do with that? How much further can you go? I'm sure it will increase over time, but I don't think he's going to see the same results he saw with CMG. You're starting with a different painting. So you got a different canvas you're starting to work on. Is Tesla starting to break out of the chop? Santilla says I got it at $75. Then you got to hold it. Yep. If you got it at $75, it doesn't matter even if it comes all the way back down to $75. You're collecting that divvy. That's fantastic. It hits 75 again. You're probably looking to add to that position. But if you're at least if you're in it for a trade, you're up a lot. Like I would consider just moving those stops up aggressively, taking what you can. If you're in it for long-term holds, phenomenal. I wouldn't sell. I would just hold it. I'd sit through all the dips, buy more if it comes lower. But Tesla, here was the chop. Yep. So yesterday was a great day for Tesla. Pretty good close. I wish the VPOC closed a little bit higher, but at least we ran right into that previous resistance. I don't know that we're out of this chop. Yep, for sure. I think we got our stops up on the swing trade, so now it's at 191.14. So for anybody that's in that one that missed it, I did get my swing trade stop up. We're risking about half R. I got targets of about 218.98. We'll see if we want to raise it, but for right now, I'll probably hold it. Um, Watch out for this level here. We looked at this one yesterday too, but somewhere around 210.20 would be the next spot. That would also start getting us into some moving average trouble. That will also get us right into this downtrend. So I don't think we're out of it yet. I think we probably maybe push into it today. I don't know if we have some kind of like, I don't know, high wave candle on Tesla today, something like that. And then we need another day or two to break out. That would look good. But otherwise, we do have a little bit of chop from here. I would look for some kind of support at yesterday's VPOC that comes in roughly around this 207 zone. So watch like 207, see if that one wants to hold. Otherwise, yeah, we're in it. So we'll see what happens. We can get a little bit of a further push on that one. See if I missed any. Who forgot to tell me about Kellanova? Yeah, what's the symbol on that? Is just K? Yeah, K. Um, Kellanova, nice jump up. Good move on earnings, but today was some kind of news, looks like. Did they have a price increase? Yeah. Price increase from 76 to 83.50. So if you're playing that, you do have some more room to the higher side, but most likely I think massive gap up. Anybody that bought that, they're profitable. I think this is probably more of a fade today, where I wouldn't chase this to the long side. Not today. Not today. Amazon versus Google. You trying to create like a little match? A little match on that one? M Sky says AMD. I think both Amazon and Google are good companies. I don't think they go anywhere. Honestly, I don't think any of them would be a bad decision, but the ones to buy would be the ones on the dip. Both of them currently dipping a little bit. And as they come down, I would be buying more. Amazon actually I thought had good numbers. I think Google had good numbers too, though. AMD looks interesting. So we are sitting right above the 20 EMA on a daily for right now. Again, this is a retest gap. See if we could pull back a little bit to like, I don't know, 104.53 would be phenomenal if we could get there. We do have some resistance coming in around 144.20. That wants to hold us up or not. Next target after that, 146.75. But that is the morning bell. Lauren, I also see you raise your hand, so let me know if you have a question. If I missed your comment in the chat, I apologize. But everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. But